Alright, Schlockmeister fans, your favorite German pervert is at it again. Klaus Kinski! Crawl Space. Let's watch. Our movie starts with a woman sneaking around what ends up being Klaus Kinski's apartment. And she finds a woman named Martha whose tongue has been cut out. And that pretty much means that she's not long for this world. Klaus Kinski likes killing people. He also plays Russian roulette.
So be it.
Dodged a bullet. Literally. Klaus Kinski owns this apartment building, and here we have one of the tenants who's being spied on by somebody outside. He's also being spied on by Klaus Kinski himself, who has this little crawl space up in the ventilation shaft, and he's being able to spy on everybody.
Don't stop undressing on my account, lady.
Is this the guy who was spying outside?
I don't mind at all.
Appears to be a would-be rapist.
Just keep on peeling away. I like that, Red.
Instead of climbing in the window.
It turns out it's just some role-playing game this couple has. New tenant. The actress Talia Bouncin.
Pretty girl. Yeah. Mr. Gunther always runs to the pretty ones. What do you suppose his secret is?
I kill because I'm addicted to killing. It's the only way I can feel alive.
Martha was able to scribble a note to him.
I can kill you. Who would I talk to if you did?
The next time that couple tries that same game,
Hey?
Klaus gets him outside, and that's the end of Hank.
Hey?
He's not going to show up. In fact, Klaus has his eyes in a jar next to Martha's tongue. This guy named Steiner
You should know by now that I'm a very tenacious man.
has been looking for this guy for a while.
Fine. I found you. And I am not going to go away.
Klaus has some Nazism in him.
You are a murderer, Dr. Gunther. Well, I can't prove it. Not yet, anyway. But during the 5 years you were the chief resident at the National Hospital in Buenos Aires, 67 people admitted under your care with routine illnesses died. As you know, Dr. Gunther, one of those 67 was my brother.
Another tenant, Jessica, hanging out with an older man named Alfred.
Fond of it myself.
He's being spied on, of course, by Dr. Gunther.
Does it matter to you that I'm rich?
May 9th, 19.
That is the ring that Alfred was wearing. He takes care of Alfred, too.
I'm intrigued.
Dr. Gunther has invented a new type of chair. Can't see the practical use of that.
Exactly who are you investigating, Mr. Steiner?
I believe Dr. Carl Gunther killed my brother.
Mr. Steiner, or whoever you are.
I guess Gunther did find a practical use for that chair. Get rid of his enemies. Gunther watches Hitler videos, apparently for inspiration. His dad apparently was a Nazi. This building has a rat problem. Although I think this was a setup by Dr. Gunther. When she goes into her bathroom, there's Steiner. With a swastika on his forehead, too. Another body with a swastika on its cheek. No matter where she goes now, she's running into dead bodies and M&Ms. She ends up fleeing Dr. Gunther by getting into the crawl space of all places. More rats. Pursued by Gunther. Oh, look at that. She gets into Gunther's place, rescues Martha, and Gunther gets felled by one of his own traps. Or does he? She gets a hold of Gunther's gun. It has one bullet in it because he likes Russian roulette. She gets him.
So be it.
So be it. That's our film. All right, for Dr. Quagmire, his favorite German pervert. It's Klaus Kinski in CRAWLSPACE. This is something I actually reviewed on my previous channel, which I'd forgotten that I had reviewed it, but once I started watching it, I was like, hey, I think I watched this not too long ago. It's true. It's a film from 1986, directed by a guy named David Schomler or something like that. Apparently, before I get into the film, Klaus Kinski was a pain in the ass on the set. He was a pain in the ass on every set, apparently, that he ever worked on. He was once diagnosed as being a psychopath. He was just a crazy guy, and he gave the director a very, very hard time. In fact, the director actually created a 9-minute short called Please Kill Mr. Kinski. And you can see that on YouTube. It's kind of fascinating. Got some outtakes from CRAWLSPACE. He just had a miserable time with Mr. Kinski, and he described Mr. Kinski as a bastard, and he used to get into fist fights with the crew. In fact, he apparently had 6 fist fights in the first 2 days on set. He was just an asshole, so what can you do, right? Anyway, the movie itself, it's about Klaus. He plays this guy who, his father was a Nazi soldier, and he has some Nazism too. I guess his father was a doctor who did a lot of experiments and stuff. And Klaus, I guess, kind of does the same thing. He has this apartment complex that he runs. He rents these apartments out to lovely young ladies. That's all he rents to is young women. And he has these crawl spaces up in the rafters, kind of like where the ventilation shafts are. So he just spies on women all the time. He occasionally kills them. Apparently gets pleasure out of them. He keeps one woman in a cage, cut out her tongue. Her name was Martha. We don't even know who Martha is or why she's in a cage, but she's tongueless. And then he kills that other guy, cuts off his fingers. There's that one girl's playing the piano, and he hammers her to the piano, her hands to the piano keys. It's an interesting fella there. Eventually he gets his in the end. So, I don't know, it's an odd little film, and put out by MGM. I don't know where this film came from, but I don't think it certainly wasn't a mainstream movie, but it was made by a mainstream company. One guy of any renown, that was Klaus Kinski at the time. Although the lead actress in there, her name is Talia Balsam or something like that. Yeah, I guess she's on Mad Men, which I've never actually watched, but I guess she played a character named Mona for 7 seasons or something like that. So she's, I guess, a well-known actress there. But anyway, I think you can get this on a couple of different DVDs, and I got it here on this Midnight Movies one, with The Attic, and you can get this fairly cheap, I think. So it is out there and readily available if you're looking for it. So it's a decent movie, though. It's kind of fun. It's got a couple of decent gore scenes, a couple of brief nude scenes. It's kind of your typical horror movie, although it's not really horror. I guess it is horror, so whatever. So anyway, it's called CRAWLSPACE. I had this on a beta tape back in the 80s. I think I rented it from a place called Red Owl in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. So anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. It's Klaus Kinski in CRAWLSPACE. Watch it. Bye.